Galatasaray, who are the oldest club in Turkish football, are just one match away from what would be the biggest triumph in their country's football history. And not surprisingly, they're relying on the same team which drew 3-3 at Old Trafford a fortnight ago. A well-deserved result that, and indeed it could have been even better. Their defence is bolstered by two German players, Stumpf and Goetz, and in attack, a Swiss international, Kubilai, who scored twice in the first leg. A quick check on tonight's substitutes, and of course the United bench dictated by this rule that only allows 6 English players to be either on the bench or out there on the field at the start of play. Well, the game, and especially the atmosphere here, calls for a strong referee, and I'm glad to say we've got one tonight in Switzerland's Kurt Roethlisberger. Well, just 24 hours ago, we were across the city when Besiktas, the team managed by Gordon Milne, the former Liverpool player and Coventry and Leicester manager, were beaten by Ajax. And the atmosphere last night was just as electric as it is here tonight in the Ali Sami Yen Stadium. The key thing last night was that Ajax, the Dutch side, scored first, and that certainly killed the atmosphere, and that obviously has to be Manchester United's objective here tonight. In a way, the problem for United is simple. They have got to go out and win this match, because a 0-0 draw, a 1-1 draw, indeed even a 2-2 draw would see Galatasaray going through on the away goals rule. In the unlikely event of a 3-3 draw, we'd go to extra time. Roy Keane, the Irishman, picked tonight, didn't play in the second leg against Honved in the first round, and Alex Ferguson admitted that was a mistake. We need his strength and his running power, he said. So Keane in the side tonight, and we believe he will play in his usual midfield role. Galatasaray reached the European Cup semi-finals 4 years ago, and the quarter-final of the European Cup Winners' Cup 2 seasons ago, losing only to the eventual winners of the trophy, Werder Bremen. They are unbeaten in 17 European ties here on their own ground. And it's Manchester United who get the game underway, attacking from left to right. Galatasaray all in yellow. And certainly, Dennis, you've played all around the world. You were a member of the last Manchester United team to play in this competition 24 years ago. Have you ever experienced an atmosphere quite like this? Dennis Law.
Well, the only thing I could possibly liken it to was when we played Estudiantes way back in 1969 in Buenos Aires, and the atmosphere and the hostility in that match was very similar today. But I think it's even worse here this afternoon. I mean, they've been in the stadium since 2 o'clock. But the thing about United, they know what they've got to do. They know that they've got to win the game tonight. There's no other than a 4-4 draw. So I've got a sneaky feeling that if United go about the right way, they can get a result here tonight.
Win with the first difficult clearance, under pressure there from Arif, the number 7, who scored a stunning first goal for Galatasaray at Old Trafford when United had swept into a very early 2-0 lead. Ince with the telling challenge. This is Idil Suat, miscontrolling it there in midfield and giving it back to Cantona. The long ball forward is offside. Sharp is offside, it won't count here. Boos from all around the stadium as Lee Sharp did the right thing as a striker and went on and placed the ball in the net anyway. But he was clearly offside and the flag went up very early.
It was a sort of marginal decision, really. Probably just a yard offside, and I'm sure Sharp never had it and carried on.
Hamza in possession. And this is Kubilai, scorer of those 2 goals for Galatasaray in the first game. The long ball forward is a dangerous one, headed away by Bruce to Robson. Gets it back from Keane. And now Cantona. Suat, Tugay, and the foul given there. The admonishing finger from the Swiss referee for Brian Robson for that challenge on Tugay, who I thought was the outstanding player for Galatasaray in the first game, and here he is in possession again. Kubilai. The long ball towards Hakan, the number 9, who gave United a lot of problems a fortnight ago. Robson gets it clear to Sharp, and now Irwin. Cantona the target up front. He finds Sharp. Cleared by little Suat. It's Galatasaray's 23rd season in Europe, this, and their 10th in the Champions Cup itself. They've only met one English club before, and that was 14 years ago when they played West Bromwich Albion in the UEFA Cup. They lost 6-2 on aggregate in that game. Alex Ferguson, who took over at Manchester United 7 years ago this month, has prepared his side for this very, very difficult task here tonight. I think it's absolutely essential that United get the first goal. As Hakan goes through, that was a splendid challenge by Bruce. Now Suat. The long ball for Kubilai. Headed away by Phelan. A rather optimistic shot from an awful long way out by the number 3, Bülent, one of 3 members of the team who played in Turkey's World Cup victory over Poland a week ago. But well off target here.
I think there's going to be several key areas tonight if United are going to do it. I think one most important is Steve Bruce. I think Steve Bruce will have to play exceptionally well tonight. Pallister out, and Hakan, such a tall lad, that I think that Bruce has got to really be on fine form.
Hakan just fails to keep it in play. Top scorer with 7 league goals for Galatasaray this season. They're currently 3rd in the Turkish league. Beaten only once in 8 games, and that was against the leaders Fenerbahce, another of the big 3 clubs here in Istanbul. Steve Bruce, who scored both goals when Manchester United beat Honved 2-1 in the Old Trafford leg of the first round match. Bülent turning it out to that far side, but it's failed to be kept in play by Arif. Now Ince. And Manchester United get the decision. United, of course, the first ever English winners of the European Cup, what's a quarter of a century ago now, and semi-finalists no fewer than 5 times, the last time 1969. Dennis Law, in fact, a member of that side. Here's Bülent. Well, I hope the atmosphere is coming across to you as much as it's evident here in the stadium. But as football managers around the world will tell you, it's not the crowd you have to play, it's the opposition. And I have a feeling that Galatasaray might have had one of their greatest ever nights a fortnight ago and may not be able to repeat that kind of performance tonight. I certainly hope so, because if they did repeat it, United would be in trouble. Giggs firing that cross, headed away by Yusuf. Keane winning it back, but it breaks, luckily for Galatasaray, and then Hakan gives it away. Turned forward by Keane. Giggs will chase down this right-hand side. And that's a goal kick. That is the German manager, Rainer Holmer, who only took over this season. He replaced Karl-Heinz Feldkamp, another German who's moved up to the general manager's position here. Guy playing it forward. Suat with the layoff. Stamped forward then by Gertz. And despite that spirited chase by little Suat, the ball goes out of play for a goal kick to Manchester United. Brian Kidd, of course, another who was in the United team, which strode so magnificently through Europe all those years ago. It's Manchester United's 17th season in Europe. Their 6th time in the Champions Cup. And you remember that they won the European Cup Winners' Cup 3 seasons ago. Indeed, under Alex Ferguson, they've won a major trophy in each of the last 4 years, United. Hakan's little header, turned dangerously back towards his own goal there. Sharp couldn't control it. Stumpf gets it away. Sharp. Suat has gone down injured. And the ball cleared by the sweeper, Reinhard Stumpf. And he looks in some pain here, little Suat. He's an unlikely looking figure. And he does take his fair share of knocks because, as you can see, he's physically not very big. And gets knocked about quite a lot, but he's a good little player. He's only broken into the team regularly this season. And one of the big favourites here for this fanatical crowd. Known about Turkish football back in England. The national team has improved considerably in recent times, and Gordon Milne was telling me at lunchtime how magnificent the supporters can be when things are going right. And Manchester United know that they've got to ensure that situation doesn't happen here tonight. Cantona turns it into the middle. Kubilai with a long ball, cut out by Parker, playing at centre-back, remember, with Gary Pallister out injured. Giggs beaten to it. Hakan. Keane takes it off him. Phelan coming in to start this tie, having played as a substitute in United's 3 previous ties in the competition. And a foul there on Cantona. The German player Stumpf, the guilty man. Phelan slides the kick in to Cantona. Giggs is up in support, but he couldn't work it to him in time. Now he finds Ince. That looked a dubious tackle on Ince, but the referee didn't see any wrong. Hakan's layoff. Tugay looking for Arif on the right. Erwin staying very close to him. There's Tugay again, very much the man who threads them together in midfield. Hamza. Kubilai. And now Hakan. Good close marking by Bruce, and he forced him out there. That was excellent defensive play by Steve Bruce, not giving Hakan any time to turn. Because believe me, if he does, then he's got the pace and the ability to go for the heart of United's defence. Bruce will remember that from the first leg.
Bit of a scrappy game at the moment, not a sort of setback. You can understand because the atmosphere here is absolutely electric, and United know they've got a difficult task. Galatasaray trying to put the game beyond United, and they keep attacking, but it's not really flowed at the moment.
10 minutes gone, still no goals. The long ball aimed for Kubilai. Bruce cut it out again. This is Phelan. Knocks it long for a fine run by Sharp. And the goalkeeper, Hayrettin, Turkey's first-choice goalkeeper, made sure that no danger ensued there as Sharp moved into an attacking role in behind the central defenders. It's clear from the opening minutes here that Ryan Giggs is operating down the right of Manchester United. Cantona's layoff. He gets it back from Phelan. And the whistle goes for a free kick to United. Foul there by Stumpf. Good position this for United. Giggs takes these free kicks wickedly, as Hayrettin will remember. And kills it in, looking for Bruce, who's gone into the far post, but it was always favourite to be won by Hayrettin, who won his first of 16 caps for Turkey against England a couple of years ago in the European Championship qualifiers. Bülent. Now Suat. This is Arif. Yusuf. One back by Ince. Sharp finding Cantona. Stabbed forward by Robson. Turned on first time by Ince, but Sharp's offside again here. He's got himself into some good positions, though, Dennis, already here in the opening minutes, Lee Sharp.
Well, I think the three front players, if you want to call them that, Giggs, Cantona and Sharp, they've got to do that. They're going to be very much so tonight. They've got to be on form, and I think we're going to see a lot of them breaking from those positions. And United have got to do it. They've got to win the game tonight.
Here's Robson. It's poor ball, easily cut out by Boulet. Two-guy. It's over the head of Bruce. Phelan was the covering defender. And an immediate kick downfield by Schmeichel, and an enormous one. Bounces almost on the edge of the other penalty area. Giggs. It's well played, Ryan Giggs. Keen in support. Ince. Forward to Cantona. Ince gets it back again. Now Phelan. A cascade of shrill whistles and boos because United are keeping possession. And that's a crime as far as these Galatasaray fans are concerned. And they're keeping possession impressively until eventually Phelan gave it away. Two-guy with poor control. And Robson has it back for United. But the whistle has gone. Foul by Lee Sharp. Free kick to Galatasaray. Well, Alex Ferguson has prepared his team, in his own words, rather better than perhaps he did for the first leg when, by his admission, Galatasaray took everyone by surprise at Old Trafford. It's good running here by Arif. A rather theatrical dive, I thought, as he ran into Keane, but the referee is convinced enough to give a free kick. I didn't see anything Keane did wrong there myself. Schmeichel lines up the wall because it's in a good position, this. Certainly Two-guy is one player that we saw a fortnight ago who would be very effective from free kicks. Well, in fact, he's walked away now. Kubilai looks as though he's going to set it up for Two-guy to hit it right-footed. It wasn't a bad effort.
Good effort indeed. It was a bit far out, but he certainly, Two-guy certainly struck it. A nice pass across the field, and he's connected well, but just gone wide.
I thought it might have taken a little flick off Parker on the way there, but the referee didn't think so. He's given a goal kick.
Well, they've always been good players, the Turks. I mean, even the national team, they've passed the ball about. What they've failed to do through the years is actually being scored, and we watched the game last night. They had a tremendous amount of play.
Sharp getting in again.
But when they got near the goal, Al, they were, you know, like weak. Now, we were most surprised, of course, when Galatasaray scored the 3 goals at Old Trafford. You thought when it was 2-0 for United, the game was over, but they came back into it. So they've added that little bit. They are certainly the best team in Turkey.
They're under pressure here. Robson turning it through. Apologies for that rather lengthy close-up of the Galatasaray coach while the ball was in play. That was Turkish television. Two-guy. Youssef coming forward. But at the moment, Manchester United are marking very well in their own half of the field, and there are no targets for Galatasaray to find. The passing let them down in that movement. Now United have possession with Sharp. Erwin. Cantona. That's a great ball forward for Giggs. Now, he just got too much pace on it. Giggs had cut inside the defender, and Cantona spotted him and released the ball immediately, but just too strong.
But United are causing Galatasaray some problems there because the front 3 men they're switching about. They're making it very difficult for the likes of Stump and Guts and the central defenders to pick them up.
Tremendous long ball there to Hakan, and Phelan only just got the right distance on that back header to Schmeichel, who immediately finds Giggs with a great throw. And then it's won back by Boulet. Keane takes it off him. Hamza. Suat. Yusuf. That's not a bad ball. In behind Irwin. And he did well there, the Republic of Ireland international, under pressure all the time from Arif. Suat. Hamza. Headed away by Irwin to Robson. Couldn't find Sharp out there on the left. It's a good ball and an excellent challenge by Keane, but it's picked up again by Hamza. He has Hakan in the middle and chose the most difficult route of all, and inevitably it ended in failure.
But the Turks are going about it the right way. They know that if the game landed 3-3 they would go through, of course, in away goals, but they're not going to do that. And I think if they had sort of stayed back, then it would have been to United's favour, but not. The Turks are not doing that. They're going out to try and get the goal that will obviously kill United. So they're not lying back on the 3 goals.
Cantona to Giggs. Manchester United's throw in. Keane. Cantona. Just too many men for him, but Keane did a good job then for United. Not the easiest of back passes for Schmeichel here, who took a risk, but I think, in fairness to him, he remained very cool and knew what he was doing. Maybe Alex Ferguson wouldn't have agreed. Coming up to 20 minutes gone, and it's still Galatasaray 0, Manchester United 0. Kubilai in possession. Hakan comes to the near post, but Kubilai couldn't pick him out. Keane back to Parker. That's excellent work by Cantona. Phelan. Sharp in a good position in the middle. And now Giggs. It breaks to Kubilai. He gives it straight back to Bruce. Now Ince, Robson. That's a good ball forward for Sharp. Well read there. And the free kick goes against Robson.
Those numbers are wrong. It is nothing you said before. Just check it out.
Ince doing well in the challenge, and the ball suddenly breaks to Cantona. Chance here for Cantona, and the referee did indeed in the end give the free kick or a foul on Stumpf.
Yes, I'm afraid that Eric got a bit involved there. I think a bit of frustration, he couldn't get the ball. There was no danger. That was a foul.
Well, wearing his tin helmet, his bulletproof jacket down on the touchline, Gary Newbot.
The combination of the noise from the crowd and the distance on the track is making it difficult for the Manchester United bench to get their instructions through. But Alex Ferguson did stand up just now and yell to Ryan Giggs, speed down the flanks, get in the corners, and that is what Alex Ferguson wants tonight. He wants his players, Sharp and Giggs, to use the wings and get the crosses in.
Here is Giggs. Cantona's layoff finds Phelan. That's a good-looking ball in towards Ince, but it was headed away by Stumpf. Now Robson goes forward and look for the 1-2 from Giggs, and just about cleared by Yusuf.
That was unlucky for Robson because the original attempt was too far out. He played nice 1-2, just didn't get the return.
Good little spell this for Manchester United, but Sharp unable to keep it in play. sliding it forward. Hamza. Keane worked hard to try and intercept then, and at least stopped Galatasaray getting forward. And Keane again making a good challenge, but the decision has gone against United. It's only a throw. Kubilai looking for the free kick. And a remarkably uneventful opening, 23 minutes to the game. And that's a tribute to Manchester United. That's exactly what they would have wanted. Bruce comes in to take it off Tugay. Now Yusuf. Suat. And again, United force Galatasaray back into their own half. Here's Bülent. Long ball for Hakan. Headed away again by Bruce. Tugay knocking it forward. Kubilay's offside. He's offside. The home fans didn't see the flag raised. I'm glad to say the referee did.
Yes, a bit of a let-off for United, but Kubilay was definitely offside. He had just come just a yard or so, but a bit of a let-off.
Galatasaray unbeaten in 17 European ties on their ground, and in recent years they've beaten some very good teams here. It was a poor clearance though, which will give Cantona and Sharp an opportunity, and now it comes to Keane, but the whistle has gone. Free kick to Galatasaray.
Yes, I think he made a bit more of it there. It looked as though he had got him, but I don't actually think he did.
It's the second knock he's had in an identical place there on the shin, little Suat. As I was saying, they have beaten the likes of PSV Eindhoven, Eintracht Frankfurt, Roma from Italy. They've drawn here in recent seasons against Bayern Munich and Werder Bremen and Monaco. And their last home defeat 10 years ago against Austria Vienna in the Cup Winners' Cup. They are a very good side, an experienced European team, particularly on their own home ground. And so far, they have made little headway against Manchester United in the opening 25 minutes. However, let us not forget that it's United who have to make headway against them. A draw here, providing it isn't the unlikely score of 4-4. Any score up to that is in Galatasaray's favour. 0-0, 1-1, 2-2. Galatasaray still win. 3-3, we go to extra time. Hamza picking out Hakan. Phelan right behind him. Hakan only just kept that in play. And now he concedes the throw. Schmeichel with a first-time kick, looking to pick out Sharp on the left. Little Yusuf under pressure, did well, but not that well. I think he thought his goalkeeper was going to come for that, and the goalkeeper suddenly decided against it. So they've got a corner, Manchester United, their first of the game. 26 minutes gone, still 0-0. Sharp will take it. Bruce has come forward. It's Bruce it was intended for. Hakan headed away. One back by Irwin. They've got a lot of strength in the box here, United. Suat gets it clear. Arif helping it out further still. This is Tugay. I'm not quite sure what he was thinking of then. Schmeichel's kick was a poor one. Only just brought down, mind you, by Gertz. He could smile now. Yusuf going forward. Hamza. Well, I don't know whether it's the tension of the occasion, but certainly so far, Galatasaray have not looked as impressive as they did a fortnight ago. Here's Bruce. Gets it back from Robson. Cantona. And Stumpf clears. It's a throw-in. German, who played in the Kaiserslautern team, which won the Bundesliga German Championship a couple of years ago. provides effective cover for Hayretti. A lot of experience at the back. Galatasaray. Cantona for United. And ball, I'm afraid. One thing that Gordon Milne was saying about Turkish football in general is that they don't tend to defend well. And indeed, Galatasaray have actually conceded 7 goals in their last 2 games, including the first leg at Old Trafford. Hakan doing well against Bruce and turns it dangerously across the area. And the shot from Tugay deflected away for a corner. Yes, United's most difficult moment.
It was, yeah, and Hakan did well because he was able to turn Bruce and get the ball into the penalty area, and the shot was quite far out. It took a deflection, but certainly Galatasaray's best move of the game so far, because they played. It's been a bit of a scrappy game. It was a good shot, that. It's been a scrappy game, but you know, they've never looked dangerous at all. That was the most dangerous moment.
Robson organises his defenders. Kubilai takes the kick. It's not a bad one. Put away by Keane. And in attempting to turn it back to Kubilai, Tugay knocked it out of play.
And I think you're right, Alan. They haven't played as well tonight as they did at Old Trafford 2 weeks ago. I mean, I thought their passing that night was absolutely superb. And of course, they took the advantage of getting the goals as well. They looked a very good team indeed.
Suat turning it on towards Hakan. Parker did well against him then. It's a poor layoff there by Giggs. He's having to chase hard to make up for his own error there, and he did so. Manchester United have won all 3 of their matches in League and Cup since the first leg. Galatasaray haven't even played in the fortnight since. Had both their club matches postponed, the first because of international duty, the second because the home federation here wanted to give them every chance possible. Here's Robson. And the cross beaten away for a throw-in. Ryan Robson actually played against this side 14 years ago when he was a West Bromwich Albion player and won 3-1 on this ground. He gets the throw back to Irwin. However, Galatasaray win back possession. Well, the only fireworks we've had so far have all come from the spectators. It's been a low-key sort of match, surprisingly, because of the importance of the occasion, which can hardly be overstated. In purely financial terms, the winners here tonight could benefit by as much as £6 or £7 million if they get into the Champions League stage of the European Cup. Here's Phelan. Over the head of Keane. Hamza. And he vaults the challenge from Ince and has done well here, Hamza. Tugay. He's dangerous, they don't want to give him a sight of goal, and he turns it forward towards Hakan. Danger here for United, and Schmeichel had to scramble to get that away one-handed. Their first real clear-cut opening, and they almost scored.
As you said, in Tugay, that was the one you wouldn't want to get there, and Hakan, he turned again the United defender. It was a good save by Schmeichel.
Here goes Hakan again. It's a great challenge. But Parker has turned it straight back to Kubilai. That's a dangerous looking cross, and Hakan! From Schmeichel. If Manchester United make progress in the European Cup this season, that could be the moment.
There is no doubt about that. This really was a magnificent save, or you could say it was an awful miss, but Hakan did everything right, and Schmeichel threw himself, and that was absolutely magnificent save.
Well, Peter Schmeichel has produced a classic piece of goalkeeping to keep Manchester United's hopes alive here. That looked an absolutely odds-on goal for Hakan, the top scorer of Galatasaray. And how did he save it?
And you just feel, Aaron, as well, if had Galatasaray got that goal, you really can't see the way that United are playing, getting two. So really that has been very much an important save.
Cantona Sharp, meantime, Sharp, in the end it was, caught in an offside position, but Schmeichel, well, the first leg of this game is the only time this season he's let in more than 2 goals. He's had a magnificent defensive record, played every game, and almost broke the hearts of Galatasaray in that moment. You never believe it. It's got the fans on their feet and cheering again. Here goes Poulet. Again looking for Hakan, cleared by Manchester United, but picked up by Tugay, knocked forward to Kubilai! For the second time in the space of a minute, Manchester United are off the hook. There was no offside decision here. If he'd have scored, it would have counted.
And that was, again, brave play by Schmeichel, coming out to Kubilai. And it just shows you that the absence of Pallister in the last 2 or 3 minutes has been quite crucial. And it's been up to Schmeichel to have saved them from that Kubilai effort. Sort of gaps appearing in the United defence, and you just felt if Pallister was there, you wouldn't have that.
12 minutes to half-time, and Manchester United going through a very rough period indeed here. They almost conceded a goal on 2 occasions. Galatasaray certainly well in front in terms of possession and goal attempts here. But crucially, it's still 0-0. Hayrettin awaits the free kick, which will be taken by Bruce. It's hit very deep. Wasn't a bad one, though. Cantona getting up in a good position. Turned away to Hakan. Over his head. And Arif beats Parker to it. Suat's given it away, but did well to win it back. And underlining his anxiety, Alex Ferguson now on his feet on the touchline. And my word, his heart must have been in his mouth in that 60-second period when United could easily have gone a goal behind. Owen. And Galatasaray are beginning to play again here now. And that's a dangerous ball too. Parker hooks it clear only as far as Kubilai. Brushed aside by Keane, and it was a good challenge. Phelan. Cantona. Robson. Turn forward to Giggs, that's a great ball. Giggs in here! Oh my word, that was so close.
Very unlucky indeed. A good ball from Robson. Giggs took it well. He just sort of didn't hit it. And if he just pulled it back a little bit, he may have picked out Cantona. But that was United's best effort. And United are in a strange position because they know they've got to go out and score a goal if they're going to win the game tonight. And by doing that, you do sometimes leave yourself a little bit exposed at the back, which we saw in the last 5 minutes.
9 minutes to half-time, and it's still 0-0 here in Istanbul. Foul there by Lee Sharp. Yusuf, the player on the end of it. Turn forward by Gertz. Parker heads it clear. Irwin. Well, United need to win this game, but I think it's very important at the moment that they get through to half-time without conceding a goal, because this is Galatasaray's best spell of the game, without doubt. And Hakan rises high again, and another good header, and Arif fails to keep it in play. Goal kick.
Hakan is certainly a handful for the United defence, particularly in the last 10 minutes, where he's won a tremendous amount of headers coming into the penalty area.
Cantona beaten to it by the big German defender, Goetz. And Tugay battling away. What a good player he is, this lad. This is Kubilai, taken off him by Keane. Bruce finds Sharp, but United penned in their own half at the moment. Good kick out by Schmeichel. Giggs trying to get on the end of it. Headed away again by Goetz. The long ball from Kubilai. Well spotted by Owen, who keeps going forward here. Yusuf has it. And Manchester United pressurise well then, and they've got to throw it. Cantona. It's all a bit tight on that far touchline, but Sharp has done well. It's a brilliant run. Just denied with the final tackle. Parker. Turned straight back to Sharp by Yusuf. Ince making a forward run, and United force another throw-in. Ince has been holding really in his midfield role rather than getting forward, which he does so effectively. But now he is forward, and it was he who forced this throw-in. Sharp will take it and finds Ince. Kept in play by Ince. And it was a dangerous cross, headed away by Boulet. Now Irwin. Ince and Sharp combining. Onside here, Ince. That's a corner. Six minutes to half-time. And the Manchester United's second corner of the half. Greeted again with that chorus of boos and whistles from all around the crowd. Goes in high towards Bruce. Headed away by Goetz. Parker keeps possession for United. And then Cantona loses out. Hamza gets it back from Hakan. And then gives it away to Phelan. Hamza will keep the pressure going here on Schmeichel. But that's a good kick by the big Dane over Cantona's head. And just turned away in the nick of time then as Lee Sharp came in threateningly. Yusuf in possession. Hakan. It's a good little layoff. Well read by Bruce, and a very good interception. Finds Cantona. Looking for Sharp or Giggs, but rather overhit the pass. Nonetheless, he forced Boulet into the clearance. And United have another throw deep inside Galatasaray's territory. Robson. Irwin. The cross deflected, and deflected unfortunately away from Cantona. Now Arif. Tugay. Long ball for Hakan was an excellent one. Taken off him by Parker. And that must have been an agonising moment for Parker and Schmeichel as they watch the ball dropping ominously towards their own goal. It's gone behind for a corner. But the skill and vision of Tugay in midfield for Galatasaray is a key factor here. He has the ability to pick men out with those long-range passes. He really is a good player. And he's given United a lot of problems in this first half. Two big central defenders have come forward for the corner. Flashed across the goal mouth. Yusuf. They're still all forward, including the tall Hakan. And United defended well then. Opportunity for Keane to get forward. Cantona and Giggs ahead of him. And now extra men arriving from midfield, including Robson. Keane. No foul given. Keane felt that he should have had a free kick out of that. Hamza. Tugai. And a foul then by Robson. Turned forward again quickly by Tugai, straight onto the chest of Steve Bruce, who finds Eric Cantona. A poor ball by Cantona. A disappointing contribution from him so far. United have a free kick for the foul by Stumpf. Cantona's goal, the third for Manchester United at Old Trafford to bring the teams level. United might easily have lost that night. Header forward there by Ince, but straight into the goalkeeper's hands.
As you say, there's got to be a bit more effort or a bit more something from Manchester United. In the normal circumstances, this performance away from home would be quite good. But the fact is they've got to win it, and what we've seen in this first half so far, they don't look as though they're going to do that and could have easily gone behind. So they've got to get more into the game. Cantona's got to come more into it as well. They've got to get the ball up to him. The first 10 minutes was not too bad, but this last sort of half hour hasn't been too good at all, and not threatening at all.
We're into the final minute of the first half here, as Hamza knocks it forward for Kubilai. Bruce is having a splendid game, and I almost put the curse on him by saying that as he kicks it straight out of play. Galatasaray's throw. One back by Giggs for Manchester United. He's in a difficult position though, and ends up giving it away to Tugai. That's great skill again from him. Parker goes in hard, and it's Ince who gets it clear. Kubilai missed kicks, fortunately for United. He's got it back again, and Galatasaray have a throw. Only seconds remaining now to half-time. United have got to keep concentrating. United, apart from those two awful moments when they might have conceded goals to Hakan and Kubilai here, have defended reasonably well, but of course their job tonight involves rather more than that, because Schmeichel and his colleagues have to score to win the tie. A draw is not going to be enough, because I think from what we've seen already, it's highly unlikely they're going to get a 4-4 draw. Sharp. Turned forward by Keane. Irwin overlapping, does well to find Cantona. We're into stoppage time at the end of the first half. Challenge there by Robson has upset the referee again. Arif, the player down injured, and most of these free kicks have gone against Brian Robson. He was in doubt, Robson, because of the sinus problem he's been having, and his contribution there has fouled Arif and brought the first half to a close. So Manchester United have reached the interval here in Istanbul without conceding a goal, but crucially also without scoring one. A difficult 45 minutes to come for them. The half-time score, Galatasaray 0 on the outcome of the next 45 minutes of football. Galatasaray take the field to huge cheers here. And all around us in the stand, the fans have been saying to myself and Dennis Law at half-time, tell them in England, tell them how good Turkish football is. And I wonder what thoughts must be going through Alex Ferguson's mind as he exchanges a final few words with the captain before the second half gets underway. Manchester United, I think, quite simply, have got to throw caution to the wind and take risks here in the second half, because we have to keep underlining that a draw of any score, up to and including 2-2, would be enough to see Galatasaray go through. Basically, Manchester United have got to go out now and try and win this game. If that leaves gaps, well, it's the risk I think they will have to take. So Ferguson's job is done. Once the players have walked over that white touchline, there's nothing more a manager can do. The half-time instructions have been given. The tactical changes perhaps have been made. There are no personnel changes on either side. I can't see any substitutes out there. So the Swiss referee will get the second half underway. And can Manchester United move on into the Champions League to face the likes of Barcelona and AC Milan and Feyenoord and Porto and the other great European sides? Ferguson has said to his players, this is your chance, this is the acid test. Prove to me that you can compete at this level. Prove to me that you want to go on and meet some of the world's great clubs in the Champions League stage. Now they've got a three-quarters of an hour to try and do just that. The first header away by Bruce, deep into the opposition half. Robson picks it up then on the halfway line. Phelan on the far side. Parker playing in that centre-back role because Gary Pallister, as you've seen and heard, is injured. Bruce with the long ball forward to Ince. I think certainly United might have to get more players forward from those midfield positions in the second half. We didn't see too much of Ince, nor indeed Keane, making forward runs. They were occupied more in a defensive strategy than an attacking role. And Cantona, how they could do with a bit of his Gallic magic.
You're right, Al, that's exactly what Manchester United will have to do. I mean, there's no point in going out on a sort of 0-0 draw after maybe, say, 15 minutes of this second half. If nothing's going, they have got to throw caution to the wind. They've got to get their midfield players up, help the front players. They've got to do that and go for the win.
And here they go forward again. That's not a bad ball to Sharp. He had to turn and hit that quickly, Sharp, and didn't really connect. Top scorer for Manchester United this season, of 4 goals in his last 6 games, revelling in the best form of his career at the moment. And the noise starts in earnest again all around this Ali Sami Yen Stadium. This would be the biggest triumph in the history of Turkish football if they could knock out Manchester United, one of the world's most famous football clubs. Hamza gets it clear. Galatasaray won the league championship to take their place in the European club on the final day of last season. They were level on points with Gordon Milne's team, Besiktas, but one on goal difference with an 8-0 away win on the last day of the season. That raised 1 or 2 eyebrows, I can tell you, if you get my drift. But what went into them becoming champions, I know not, but I do know they're a very good side, and they proved that over 1.5 matches here against England's best. Manchester United have forced a corner. Headed away by Yusuf. And the first corner of the half to United. Giggs will take it. To a crescendo of boos. Bruce gets up well, and it almost bounced into the path of Lee Sharp. Hayrettin holds safely onto the ball.
Unlucky that it was a good header by Steve Bruce, and unfortunately for Lee Sharp, he was just about a yard, just too far away. Bruce got up well, nice header, didn't get a great deal of force behind it, but that was Sharp there, just ran away from it.
United under pressure for the first time in this half at the other end, and that took an enormous bounce. Fortunately, at 6'4", Schmeichel was able to deal with it. Turned on then by Giggs. And Giggs, rather like Cantona, 2 enormously talented players, have not really made the contribution United would have hoped for as yet. Parker under pressure now at the other end from Hakan. And he did well to win the ball there. Phelan on the far side as Hakan picks himself up and gets on with it. The little ball then by Giggs to Cantona. It was a poor ball, he didn't give Robson any hope, but Irwin has rescued it, and a fine effort out to Sharp. They've got a lot of players forward here, United, and Suat charged down Sharp's attempted cross, but United have another corner. Suat defends the near post. Sharp will take the kick. Steve Bruce has come forward again. A lot of movement in the box, but unfortunately the kick was still delivered straight into the goalkeeper's hands.
But it's more like United in the second half. They've come out a bit more. They seem to have pushed the midfield up to help the front three, and that wasn't happening in the first half. And the midfield really was not involved. They seemed to be bypassing it, and it must be fair to count on the likes of that. The service that they got in the first half was not good.
Manchester United have won 10 of their last 12 games back home, and altogether 15 wins in 19 League and Cup matches this season. An incredible record, but this is the one they want to win more than anything. Robson. Irwin. And now Sharp. Yusuf closes down the space immediately. 3 players come to provide the barrier. That's how difficult it's been. Indeed, it seems more difficult now because he's adjudged to have fouled little Yusuf. Heaven knows that it was not Yusuf. In fact, it wasn't the first challenge, it was the second one there on Suat, with the free kick's been given for. Now the fans break into song again. It's almost orchestrated, the singing and chanting here. One half of the stadium sings part of their favourite lyric, and then the other half of the stadium joins in with the second verse. They really are the most fanatical and noisy fans, and they can be amongst the most volatile as well if things go wrong. Here's Arif for Galatasaray. This looks good. Danger here as Hakan attacks again into the United box. Bruce forced him wide of the danger zone, but he pulls it back nicely for Tugay. Sets it up, and the shot by Suat was always well off target. It's not really his strength.
Good play again by Galatasaray, and Hakan as a threat. Good move it was, but again, the shooting lets them down, and that was an awful shot.
Well, the coach, Rainer Holman, would become one of the great heroes of Turkish football if he can pull off what no one even in Turkey thought was possible, beating Manchester United in the European Cup. Cantona's header. Stumpf gets it clear. Tugay turning it on to Arif. Arif goes down rather belatedly, and the referee, in my opinion, quite correctly, judges that to have been a bit of play acting by the number 7. Something they are prone to do from time to time, these Turkish players. Here he is again. It's a good run this time. Finally, he ran into trouble in the shape of Steve Bruce. Not the easiest ball for Ince to try and control there, and Yusuf has taken it from him. Irwin beaten to the header. Tugay. They've got 4 men forward in this attack, and that's a good ball. And Hakan lets it run on to Kubilay. Well, it might have been a clever little dummy. Fortunately for Manchester United, it turned out to be a crucial mistake.
But if Kubilay had read the situation, and he should have done, when Hakan made the dummy there, Kubilay hadn't read it. If he had, that could have been danger for United.
This game really is on a knife edge, because if Galatasaray do score, it would be very, very hard to see Manchester United winning the tie. Hamza attacking, and he has not won the corner he expected. It's a goal kick.
Well, I think you're right there, Alan. I think if Galatasaray did score a goal, then I would feel it would be very, very difficult indeed for United to come back by 2 goals. Even at this score at the moment, 0-0, United have got to play a lot better if they're going to get that. If they're going to get the goal.
Well, remember, these supporters have been here for 6 or 7 hours to get their favourite places on the terraces. Heaven knows what they do when nature calls, but they don't seem to mind. Here's Cantona for Manchester United. Irwin helps it back to him. And he's done well, Cantona, but once again, little Suat comes to rob him. This looks dangerous. But well played Ince. He really worked hard to get back and deny him there. Now Robson. Once again, Galatasaray have possession, but offside. Tugay was offside. And the nerves eating away at the Manchester United manager, I'm sure. 10 minutes into the second half, and the game remains goalless. That's a good header by Giggs to Sharp. Back it goes again to Giggs. Let's have a bit of magic now from Ryan Giggs. Sadly, no. Indeed, I think the referee had signalled a free kick in before the ball had crossed the line there. Ryan Giggs, frustratingly, hasn't been able to get into those dangerous positions he seems to get into every week at home. With the problems England are facing in qualifying for the World Cup finals in the USA next summer, the last thing English football needs is for its champion club, Manchester United, to go out at this early stage of the European Cup. I think it's a critical night for more than just Manchester United here. English football's hopes on the line as well. Miskick clearance there by Gertz, but Galatasaray have got away with it. Parker heads it on to Sharp. That's brilliant play by Sharp. Cantona's layoff to Irwin. All 11 Galatasaray players inside their own half as United attack. Here's Robson. Turns it forward. He tried to get it back from Cantona, and I thought he was brought down there, Robson, by Tugay, but the referee has said play on. Arif dispossessed by Irwin. He then gives it back to Tugay. Yusuf rides the challenge from Sharp and finds Suat. Kubilay and Hakan forward, but he has to check, and did very well. Hamza. Tugay always available in the middle of the field. Now Suat's given it away to Keane. Sharp. Giggs to his left. Turned on first time to Keane. And well played Keane. Now Robson. Well, that was the wrong ball, really, by the captain, as he tried to lay it inside the fullback to Phelan. It wouldn't have mattered anyway, because Phelan was offside. Dennis.
Although they haven't created anything in the second half, I think it's been a much more positive attitude by Manchester United. As we say, and we all know, they've got to go out to win the game, and I think for the first time in the match, they've thrown the midfield players to help the front players, and that has put pressure on the Turkish defence, keep them penned in their own half, and I think they've done that a little bit more in the second half.
Bruce in possession for Manchester United. It's not a good ball, but it comes back to United. Robson finding Cantona. Now Phelan. Not long for Ince. And a little nudge there, I think, by Ince, but in any case, no, the referee has seen his linesman flagging. I thought it was going to go Galatasaray's way, but United have got the corner. Giggs will take it. Goes in quickly. Bruce on the near post, but he never reached him. Giggs again with an opportunity to cross. Goes in rather flatter this time. Turned clear by Suat. The little period this for Manchester United. Parker whips it back in. There's no offside. Cantona. Chance here perhaps for United. Cantona battling away. And still Giggs gets the half shot in. It comes back out again to Keane. And that's a foul by Suat. Free kick to Manchester United. And certainly United had Galatasaray wobbling in this moment, just prior to that foul.
Well, what they've done, they've pushed players forward, haven't they? They've pushed a lot of players onto the Turkish defence, and it makes it very hard to clear it. And when they have cleared it, it keeps coming back to Manchester United. So this has been a really good spell for United.
If they could top it off with a goal, what joy that would be. Hayrettin lines up his defensive wall. Cantona, Ince and Robson are the three United players over the ball. It's an awful long way out for a shot, but it's still on, perhaps. I think Ince will roll it short, and maybe Cantona will have a crack. And that's exactly what happened, and it went straight at the wall. Turned back into Giggs. Yusuf takes charge. His goalkeeper's giving him a hard time, saying, look, I had that ball covered, but Yusuf couldn't take the risk. Cantona gets it back to Irwin. Straight back in. It's not a bad-looking ball either, and it breaks to Keane inside the box. But again, United couldn't force the issue, and suddenly Galatasaray looked dangerous on the counter-attack here. Hakan in possession. Kubilay and Arif are both forward for him. He's done well, the big number 9. Finds Arif. Only Kubilay in the penalty box at the moment. But the sensible thing for Galatasaray to do at the moment is just to keep possession, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. Arif, Suat, Arif again. Keane arrives to win it back for Manchester United. Upfield towards Giggs. Bülent, the defender, was very good and very calm. Knocks it long, but Hakan is offside. Schmeichel urging his players to forward positions. Quarter of an hour gone, an hour of the game completed, still 0-0. And the 3-3 first leg score remains in Galatasaray's favour because of the away goals ruling. United have got a score. Suat turns it clear. Hakan's little header is a good one. Arif onto it. That's good defending again from Bruce. He got across in the nick of time, and as well he did, because he was the last defender apart from the goalkeeper Schmeichel. In fact, the referees brought them back and given a free kick for the earlier collision, rather surprisingly. Turned in by Tugay, and the header almost dropping again for Hakan from Kubilay, but United get it clear. It was a rather wild clearance from Sharp. Phelan wins it back. Now Suat for Galatasaray. Hamza. United's throw in. Good early throw. Robson turns it on to Cantona. Ince making a good run forward again, but the Cantona through ball wasn't good enough to find him. That's a good challenge to win it back by Keane. And then the ball not long to Giggs. Giggs looking for Sharp. It'll come back to Giggs from Robson, and the offside flag has been raised. Free kick to Galatasaray. Gary Newbon down on the touchline again.
Well, obviously United have got to attack all the while, but there is a sense of frustration on the United bench. Urging their defenders to go forward, but they don't obviously want to get caught on the counter-attack. A lot of the yelling is going towards Giggs. They really want Giggs to burst through now and try and set up the winning goal.
18 minutes completed in the second half. Galatasaray 0, Manchester United 0, 3-3 on aggregate. Parker's header clear. Irwin. Giggs to Cantona. In hard with Stumpf. The ball breaks to Sharp, but he couldn't control it first time. Now Irwin has it back, and the free kick has gone against Robson again. Umpteen times the referee has seen fit to rule a foul when Brian Robson has made challenges. I don't really think he can argue about that particular one. A lengthy delay which won't do Manchester United's cause any good. Two guys all right to continue, and the game will restart with a free kick to Galatasaray. 0-0 the score, and that will be enough for them to go through. Cantona finds Keane, on it goes to Ince. Robson is in support. And Ince again chose the most difficult route, I'm afraid. Hayrettin's clearance, headed on by Hakan. Phelan. Over the head of Cantona. Stumps did well to win it back. And now little Suat to Hakan. And the referee's had enough of one or two of these United challenges. That's going to be a yellow card. I think it was just one tackle too many. Cruz hadn't really committed a foul as far as I can remember in the game. But I think because of the challenges by Brian Robson, ironically, the referees decided enough's enough. And the first yellow card of the game.
I think you're right, Al. I think it's just been a culmination of a few tackles, in particular by Robson. And Steve Bruce was very unlucky there to actually get booked.
Certainly it was a foul on the ground. The referee just put him out. But United have done better in the second half. As I say, they're not creative, and maybe they're a bit frustrated with the final pass or whatever, but they know what they've... I'm sure Alex Ferguson at half-time has had a word to say, listen, we've got to go out, we've got to get our midfield players up to help our front players, we've got to try and get that goal, and that's exactly what they've been doing. Although it hasn't been a clean type of game, at least they've put it in there, and the opportunity to get it.
And also they put the Galatasaray, their passing has dropped off a little bit as well.
Free kick then to Galatasaray. Cleared by Phelan. Now Robson. Gets it back from Ince. Again, United lose out in the middle of the field. Kubilai finding Hakan. Now Tugay. It breaks loose though to Sharp. Dennis Irwin. Long ball for Cantona, easily won back by Big Stumpf, who's had a very solid game, the sweeper for Galatasaray. They've all played well, really, the Turkish team. And in particular, did well then and went round Parker, who will become the second Manchester United player in a matter of a minute or so to be shown the yellow card for the foul. And strangely enough, I think he thought about hauling him down. He certainly had a hand on him. But whether he did, in fact, in the end bring him down, I'm not certain. I think the Galatasaray man was looking for that free kick and got it. Midway through the second half, still 0-0. Yusuf in possession for Galatasaray, turns it long towards Hakan on the far post. He gets there ahead of Phelan. Now Hamza, that's a lovely little back healer. Hakan turning it back, Kubilai knocks it long towards Suat. Suat, the littlest man on the field, has still got there ahead of Schmeichel, who's the biggest. I think that was a sign of the anxiety that United are obviously feeling whenever Galatasaray attacks.
I don't know what was going through Schmeichel's head here. I mean, he's the smallest guy in the field. He's obviously took his eye off the ball and was watching the man. Got away with it.
Jim McGregor, the Manchester United physio, is called upon to get on to treat an injured player for the first time in the match, unlike his opposite number, and I'm sure Jim McGregor would agree that if he was a Galatasaray physio, he'd have been overworked by now. And it's the signal for Alex Ferguson to get to his feet again on the touchline, and also the signal for the crowd to break into song again. Just listen to the noise and look at the enthusiasm. The game will restart with a corner kick to Galatasaray. Hakan, the danger man, closely watched by Bruce. He got it well on that near post area. It was touched across the United goal. Fortunately, it was a Manchester United player it went to. Then headed back in by Gertz. Robson couldn't find control. The chase by Arif. And that's a goal kick. Time beginning to run out for Manchester United. They have just a shade over 20 minutes to rescue their hopes of going through to the lucrative Champions League stage of the European Champions Cup. 0-0 is no good to them. In many other circumstances it would be a fine away score, but they only drew 3-3 at home a fortnight ago, and because of those 3 away goals they have a very big insurance policy here, Galatasaray. 0-0, 1-1, 2-2 would still be enough to see the Turkish champions go through. It's a difficult moment for Manchester United with 20 minutes to go. Do they now start piling bodies forward and taking all kinds of risks, or do they hold on a little longer and try and keep their shape? Here's Ince. It's a good run forward, but a bad ball at the end of it, I'm afraid, by Paul Ince.
And that's happened a tremendous amount of occasions, hasn't it, when they've got into the Turkish half and sort of the final ball, and that was Paul Ince's ball. Only he had done ever so well to get to that situation and then just knocked the ball far too hard. Maybe it's the ideal time for Alex Ferguson to be maybe thinking of bringing on a substitute, i.e. Dublin, taking off a midfield player, and then just knocking the ball into the Turkish penalty area and hopefully get the goal.
And the noise all around us now reaching fever pitch at times. The crowd here of about 35,000 feeling their team are on their way. And that's a dangerous ball, beautifully cut out by Schmeichel. A first-time clearance into the half, headed away by Gertz, as we see again a replay of that dangerous moment for United. But the ball is back in play again. Bruce getting it forward to Sharp, now Irwin. That's a good ball for Robson. Referee gets in his way, but he finds Ince. Ince tried to line up the shot, but the gap wouldn't come. And Giggs' little back heeler has only given possession back to Suat. That's a very good ball forward, and a nice layoff too. This is where they look so good. Arif in possession. Kubilai to his left. And he turns it back. Unfortunately for United, turns it behind as well. They might have made more of that break, actually, as Dion Dublin is about to come on here in what could be just about Manchester United's final throw of the dice. Dion Dublin, who has not had too many games since joining Manchester United from Cambridge. He broke his leg, remember, early on in his career, and has been kept out by well, the sheer size and quality of United's squad. But now he's on for Roy Keane, and obviously will be thrown straight into the fray up front to give Manchester United another option now. 6'2", very strong in the air, Dion Dublin, and they will have to go route one now, Manchester United. Immediately, his first contribution is to give away a free kick.
I was going to say, I think that was the only option left, really, wasn't it, to take a midfield player off and then throw it, because they haven't. Keane has not really got into the game at all. I thought it's been much better in the second half.
17 minutes to go. The countdown towards Manchester United's European ambitions. Dublin's layoff finds Robson. Robson stabbing it forward. Giggs trying to get in behind the defender, but he's totally outnumbered by yellow jerseys. Even Kubilai, an attacking player, is back defending now. And why not? From Galatasaray's point of view, really, basically all they have to do is keep defending. Giggs. They've got to pick it up a gear now, Manchester United. They've got to up the pace. That's not a bad ball in towards Dublin. Dublin gets the header eventually, but the whistle has gone, and a free kick has been given to Galatasaray, frustratingly for United. Gertz doesn't seem to quite understand why. Not sure Cantona does either, but a free kick it is. All the trophies that Alex Ferguson has won in his days as manager of Aberdeen and Manchester United. The one he wants, like any other manager in the game, is the European Cup. He really did think, and I think a lot of people in the game would have agreed with him, that this could have been Manchester United's season. The depth and quality of their squad, the manner in which they won the English Championship last season and lead it so emphatically again this. It looked as though it could be United's year. But now, I have to say, it looks as though they could even go out at the second round stage. But there is still time. Let's not write them off too soon. There's still a quarter of an hour to go here for Manchester United to get that all-important, critical, crucial goal. Then they'd have to hold on to it, because 1-1 would not be enough, I repeat. Bruce with the free kick. It goes in high, predictably, towards Dublin. Headed away by Stump. Irwin knocks it back in. Yusuf gets it clear. Still in play. Irwin's gone well. And the referee's given a free kick against the United fullback. Arif goes down dramatically again. If he was hurt, I'm sure he's not as badly hurt as he's pretending to be. And there's a bit of an incident off the ball here, because Cantona went to fetch the ball, and suddenly all the Turkish players surround the Frenchman, and that was all totally unnecessary and is inflaming the crowd. And I don't really know why on earth this is happening. This is absolutely ridiculous. It's all blown up from absolutely nothing, that. And they're still arguing and shouting, and Cantona would be well advised to get well away from it. Dion Dublin's doing just that. Well done, Dublin. The Frenchman flaring up there. He was trying to get the ball, and as you can see, one of the coaching staff of Galatasaray came to try and prevent him getting it, and he lashed out at it, and all that led to a flare-up which eventually involved about 10 players from either side. All very, very silly, and not doing United's cause any good at all. The last thing they want to do here is inflame this crowd anymore.
Really, just a bit of frustration there on Cantona's part. He did, and as you say, one of the Galatasaray staff came out, and he was only trying to get the ball, I think, and of course a few people came out, so something that you don't want to happen.
There's the object of all the excitement. Irwin's clearance. Flicked on by Cantona. Dublin. Sharp. That's a goal kick. Down on the touchline. Let's hear again from Gary.
Well, Gordon Milne, who's a manager over here in Turkey, was telling me this morning that it's incidents like that we've just seen involving Cantona that really get the crowd going. It's not so much the scoreline, it's an off-the-ball incident, and you can hear them really booing now. By the way, I spoke to Dion Dublin at the team hotel this morning, and he just said, I'd love to have the chance to come on because I'll battle my way through. It's a great opportunity for me to come back and really score a goal. Well, this would be the most important goal of Dion Dublin's career if he can snatch it with just a few minutes to go.
But here's Arif in possession for Galatasaray, threatening the United goal. Yusuf coming forward, first time in this half he's done so. And a poor cross. A bit of a gap he's left behind now. Schmeichel with one of those enormous throws of his finds Giggs, who couldn't find Dublin, lashed back into the United half, only as far as Bruce. 12 minutes to go, still 0-0. If it remains that way, Galatasaray will go through. Manchester United will go out. Free kick, or is it a throw-in? Giggs isn't quite sure. The referee's indicated free kick. Swung in high by Giggs towards Dion Dublin. It breaks to Robson, taken off him, and that'll only be a throw to United. And everyone stands to boo Cantona as he comes to the near touchline, but Sharp it is who'll take the throw in and look for Cantona. A difficult bounce there, but the whistle's gone because Dublin was fouling as the throw-in came in. He said his shirt was being pulled.
He's only been on about 5 minutes. I think that's about the fourth foul he's been involved in. But I think we're going to see some desperate defending by the Turks. They know that they're not very long away from going through to the next round. United get the goal, so they're going to throw a lot up. And the fanatical support here as well. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Well, there were times in the 80s when English clubs absolutely dominated the European Cup with 7 wins in 8 years. But now we face the prospect of our English champions going out in only the second round of this season's competition. They have 11 minutes in which to do something about it. Bruce finds Ince, out to Phelan. Giggs takes over and whips it in first time. Sharp is up there. Dublin actually took it away from him, and he might have been better leaving it to his teammate that time. The clock ticks on. 10 minutes remaining. Galatasaray 0, Manchester United 0. 3-3 is the aggregate score, and if it remains goalless here, as the anxious managerial teams know, that means Galatasaray are through. The various cheerleaders dotted all around this stadium, unofficial and official, on their feet again, urging more noise from this crowd who've been here most of the day. Dublin's header to Robson. He's under pressure from Suak. Parker has it for Manchester United and finds Giggs. Giggs on again to Robson. Robson runs into trouble but keeps the ball, and then the whistle goes and a free kick has gone again against Robson. It's been very quickly taken. As you're seeing the replay here, they're already back in play. And a good layoff too by Hakan. Hamza getting forward on the left-hand side. Park has to take it away from him. Hakan. Goal kick. 8 minutes to go, Dennis.
Well, time is certainly running out, and you must say that if they do go out tonight, it wasn't here that they've lost it. It was obviously at Old Trafford, where they drew 3-3. I mean, they've tried everything tonight. They've fought and they've battled. But when you look at what they've actually created, there hasn't been any. There was a chance in the first half with Giggs when he shot past the post, but really it's one of those. It's an up and under now, and it's a sort of, can you get that little bit of luck in the penalty area?
Phelan has turned his clearance straight to Arif. And now Suat. Dublin running hard to close down the space for Suat, who gives it away anyway. United just simply haven't created enough pressure, have they? I'm sure if they had to go out, they would have wanted to go out by at least throwing the ball in the box and giving Galatasaray a lot of problems, but that hasn't happened here. They're going to make another substitution now in an attempt to try and force something, and young Gary Neville, who's basically a defensive player, is the man who's coming on, and I'm quite sure what that's going to achieve. Maybe they'll shove Steve Bruce forward into an attacking role. Dennis?
Something like that, yes. You can't really understand, you know, he's only a young boy coming on, he is a defender, and maybe they'll go through Steve up front.
I think it might be Parker who's coming off. I can see a number 6 there, unless it's a number 9. But anyway, whatever it is, they'll have to wait to make the substitution. The ball's still in play, but it isn't now. So a big moment in the career of this young man, though he would have certainly wished things to have happened in far the better circumstances than this. 7 minutes to go, and it is indeed, I think, Parker who's coming off. And still the referee doesn't seem to have noticed that United are trying to make a substitution. It's Phelan, in fact, in the end, who's coming off. So Phelan replaced by Neville, and just 6 minutes remaining here. Bruce hammers the ball forward. Dublin Turning it on, that's not a bad ball. Can Cantona get in behind the last defender? Well, Hayrettin made sure he couldn't. And United under pressure themselves. Hakan. Taken off him by Irwin. This is Bruce. Frustration for Hakan, but he knows now he's only 6 minutes away from being on the victorious side. Maybe not on the day, but over the two ties. But one good thing for United would be here, if they did manage to score, there would surely not be enough time for Galatasaray to get it back. But now they've got to defend themselves, and they're in a good position here, Galatasaray. That's a terrible ball. They were in a strong position then as well, but they've still got possession as Yusuf dashes forward. It's gone out of play, and there are only 5 minutes remaining now. And Manchester United's European Cup hopes hang by the slimmest of threads. The first ever English club to win the Cup are 5 minutes away from going out at only the second round stage. But a goal still would surely, at such a late stage in the game, be enough. Just one goal, how precious it would be. Kubilai lying injured from the challenge by the young substitute.
I think a little bit of acting there. Neville didn't really hit him at all. Kubilai, I think, making the most of it. Wasted a few more minutes. Alex Ferguson not looking too happy, I don't suppose. Can't blame him either.
Well, certainly one thing that will slightly backfire on the play acting, got to call it that, by the Galatasaray players, is that there'll be a fair amount of stoppage time to be added. It might not be enough for Ferguson's dreams. 4 minutes of normal time to go. Still 0-0. That scoreline, I repeat, would be enough to see Galatasaray through. Dion Dublin did well. That's a good ball forward too. Sharp. He's got Giggs and Cantona ahead of him. Perhaps should have released it a bit quicker. Ball taken off him by Gertz. Now Yusuf. They're tired, these Galatasaray players, but that's hardly surprising. They'll have to defend an awful lot in the second half. Bruce. It goes to Dublin, but over his head. Ince has given away the free kick, and it was a poor decision by the referee. And Ince reacted angrily towards it, and is the third Manchester United player to be cautioned. I must say I have some sympathy for Ince there. I didn't think that was a foul at all. Well, all around the stadium now, as we see again why Ince was penalised. All around the stadium, the flares and the fireworks are being lit again as the celebrations begin here with 3 minutes of normal time remaining. I hope we don't get as much smoke as we got before the kick-off, because we won't be able to see the pitch if we do. Here's Cantona to Giggs. Can United snatch victory from the jaws of defeat? Giggs plays it in behind Sharp, to the huge delight of the unsympathetic 35,000 fans of Galatasaray. It could be the greatest night in the history of Turkish football. And they're going to bring on a substitute rather, just to try and see them through these final few minutes. Ure, his name, an international who's been out injured for most of the season. Just listen to the noise now as the home fans think they've done it. Arif, the player off, Ure, the player on, and the smoke virtually blotting out the pitch in front of us here and choking myself and Dennis Law as it goes forward to Hakan. Bruce takes it off him. And Hakan battles hard to try and win it back, and the free kick's gone against Bruce. He thought he was fouled in the first place, and I think that's why he placed his hand on the ball. We are now into the last minute of normal time. And Manchester United are on the verge of going out of Europe as it goes in towards Euro, the substitute. And the whistle has gone, he was offside.
Well, it's been one of those nights really where United they've tried everything. They haven't created a great deal. But certainly the effort and everything was gone. You still never know, but time is definitely running out for them.
United have got to get on with it now. There will be no more than a couple of minutes at the most of stoppage time, and you never know how much a referee is going to add, only he knows that. The celebrations here will be something special if Galatasaray can hang on here. They're going to make another substitution. Clever stuff, just to try and break up United's rhythm. But the referee hasn't spotted that. And United go forward and win a throw deep near the corner flag. And we now have moved into stoppage time. And Galatasaray have moved into dreamland. Seconds away, possibly, from beating the champions of England. Dublin's little back header almost caused that dream to be shattered. And United have conceded the free kick, in fact, and now the referee will allow Galatasaray to bring on their substitute, who's a young defender called Mert. And the referee finally sees what's happening, and they're going to take off the man whose 2 goals at Old Trafford a fortnight ago did so much to make this dream for Galatasaray possible. Kubilai will come off eventually. He doesn't want to. A lot of time to be added, I would think, with all these stoppages, but we are now, for what it's worth on my watch, a minute over the allotted 90. And the referee's had a look at his watch. He's got to have had a bit more time than this, surely. He hasn't added any, and time has run out for Manchester United. They are out of the European Cup. Galatasaray have completed the greatest triumph in the history of Turkish football, and the champions of England are sadly beaten. The final score, Galatasaray 0, Manchester United 0. Galatasaray go through on the away goals rule.